I thought I'd make a video on two little inlays. Now, you may say to me, Mike, why bother with that? You can just plug it in with composite. Well, that's true, but assuming we want to cast them into gold, or just the digital challenge to be able to create something like that from Blender is a true marvel. So let's go through this quickly. I'll just explain to you what I'm doing. I'm organizing and managing my objects so that Blender knows what is what, and these are in different collections that we can hide and we can unhide. So this is very quickly to do. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm not going to use a tooth library. I'm going to go to the model designer. Now there we've got something called a patch up tool, and this, guys, is so amazing. It's like hot wax. For those of you that are familiar with a waxing tool and an instrument, this behaves very, very similar to hot wax. You can see how it attaches and detaches. Absolutely beautiful, amazing. What I do there is I just duplicate, so I just click Shift D on my keyboard, and then I'm going to do it one more time, Shift D, and then I'm plugging this hole with this hot wax. Alright, once it's done, is in the patch up tool we can carve that or we can fill it. We don't do either, so what we're going to do is one menu down, we're going to click on exit. This is going to make this into an object. So as you can see in edit mode, it's a solid watertight object. And I'm going to be using this as my so-called tooth library. And we're going to, in the crown module, we're going to put it into the teeth collection. And here we can see it. Now next on the list is we want to mark the margins. So I'm going to click draw, and what that does, it changes the color of my objects just to acknowledge that we are now doing what we are doing. Excellent. Now we're going to click on create upper surface. These are going to be the inside surfaces of our crowns. Now inlays and onlays and veneers and everything that we do in dentistry has to be blocked out because you need to insert it. There's nothing more stressful than sending something off to the surgery, or you've got a patient there and you're trying to fit this and it won't fit. So this is a definite no-no. So here we're going to survey this and block them out. Inlays do have to be surveyed and blocked out. And the technique that we use in B4D is we just click on that, and then we're watching and we're looking at from the Z axis. Then we get the opportunity to rotate this object. So we've got a very good view and visual, a bird's visual of where these undercuts are. And you may say, oh, Mike, there's hardly any undercuts. Yeah, well, that may be true, but in transparent mode, X-ray mode, we can see now that these little bits and pieces are undercut, and there's a big undercut that we are missing, and that's over here. And if we were to just make an inlay, you'd probably struggle, especially if it's made out of chrome cobalt or something else. So here I'm moving the object a little bit, and then we're going to click on the blocking out of the upper. Now these are blocked out. They turn blue to acknowledge that we've blocked them out. The next crucial step is to make little support margins, because those of you that do milling and even printing, those sharp edges and borders can be lost, and we don't want them to chip or misprint, and hence the reason why we put on a thin margin. You can choose which 50 microns or 100 microns or 200 micron margin. And based on this information, we still need the cement gap cement spacer. We can't make these inlays without it because we need a good adhesive layer. And the green little objects that you see here on the scene are safety zones. So that's just to make absolutely sure that you don't go thinner than that when we're making these inlays. Great. Now we need to focus on the antagonist and the bite relationship. In Blenderfordental, we've adopted the opinion that this antagonist needs to be able to be offset. This is not done in quite a few other programs. When I zoom in, we can see this 100 micron offset. So if your crowns are consistently high, for example, then this gives us the perfect opportunity to offset and make this model a little bit larger. Well, in the surgery, that'll save a lot of time, and you don't need to fiddle around with carbon paper and so on and so forth because they have been cleared. And some of you may say, other software have a heat map, but we didn't really think it would be that important, because as we cut it, we know that this inlay has been offset. So even if we'd put a heat map in it, it would just be one color. So as you've seen, I've moved it up and down. So if you've got a tooth with nice anatomy, you don't want to destroy the tooth, and hence the reason why we can move this in the live trimming mode. As you can see, this is a very simplistic mesh, especially the cut of it, just to keep things simple. But then it gets smoothed out. I'm going to just briefly smooth the edges and deflate them a little bit towards my surface of the model. And that's just to ensure that we get a good junction between the two. Okay, now it's time to generate those. And as I've said in the beginning of the video, this has always been a challenge to be able to make two inlays that are so close together in one go. And we've successfully made this happen. And here we go. I'm going to hide the working model, and just to show you the mesh structure. In Blender, we get the opportunity to view the mesh up close. And you can see the support margin over here, and the mesh is of pristine quality. If you look closely, this is where the die space has also been cut out. In edit mode, we can have a look, and everything is extremely precise. So if you want to take it one step further, we can go to the copings menu, and there we can use the crease tool to re-emphasize some of these cusps. And we do that also when we're carving wax or composite in the mouth, just to give it a little bit of more natural look. And when you're staining it, that the color would then sort of settle in those crevices, giving it a really natural. So this was a full tutorial, 10 minutes long, and I've been speaking quite a lot. So this should take you less than 5 minutes. If you know what you're doing, it's even faster than that. So yeah, if you've got any questions or comments, please feel free to comment. Okay, bye.